throughout the game. These were actually in Diablo 2, but they were pretty much just a liability. You'd hire, some rogue, and she'd promptly kind of get herself killed. They still have a bit of a tendency to do that even in the expansion, but you can actually equip them now with different gear, and they level up along with you, and you can resurrect them if they die. So it's actually possible to gain a hireling and keep that hireling throughout the entire course of your character's life, which is kind of a nice feature. It gives you, sort of the sense that you're playing multiplayer, even if you're playing by yourself. The hirelings do a pretty good job of helping you out in battle and stuff like that. The expansion tweaks a lot of aspects of the interface. It gives a lot of improvements. There's a new mini-map option that floats in the upper left-hand corner, and instead of the traditional sort of Diablo map overlay, it's a lot easier on the eyes. There are new options like repair all buttons when you're talking to the town smith. You can fill up your entire belt with healing potions at the touch of a button. Streamline stuff like that really streamlines the game and makes it a lot better to play. The best of these changes is the enhanced resolution of the game. It now can run in 800 by 600 as opposed to the 640 by 480 in the original Diablo 2. Once you make the switch to the higher resolution, it's almost impossible to go back. You see a lot more of the screen at a given time. The graphics themselves look more crisp and just cleaner because they're smaller on the screen. You even get a tactical advantage because you actually see more of your surroundings at any given time. You have some more time to see things coming towards you before they actually get on top of you. So that's really helpful and makes the entire game look better. The new 5th act in the Diablo 2 expansion is probably the best of all 5 of the acts now. It's probably the longest act, and has a lot of interesting things. You start out in a barbarian village, and that's under siege by the forces of Baal, and you need to stop that siege by literally fighting your way up this mountain as these giant demonic catapults like fling like elemental bolts at you, and all kinds of imps and their giant beast steeds are attacking you. So it's a pretty tough sequence, but a lot of fun. And eventually you fight your way into the heart of the mountain where Baal is waiting for you. The 6 quests in Act 5 are quite interesting. Rather more involved than some of the quests in the original Diablo 2, and altogether it's a great addition to the game. And of course you could play on the higher difficulty levels that become available once you finish the game the first time. Diablo 2 expansion also introduces hundreds of new magical items and many new magical properties for literally thousands of new item combinations. Some of these are the most powerful weapons yet available in the game, so a lot of players will certainly be interested by that. Actually, one of the other big features is your character now has the ability to readily switch between 2 different sets of weapons. So the barbarian might have 2 swords equipped in one stance, and then can quickly switch to like a giant polearm or maybe an axe and a shield combination. So depending on the situation, you can gain, basically you have a serious new tactical advantage now by being able to carry 2 completely different sets of weapons and switch between them at any point. The rates at which certain items drop have changed. New class-specific items have been introduced. For instance, special spears that only the Amazon can use, and like shrunken heads that only the Necromancer can use, that sort of thing. So all in all, Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction is an excellent expansion pack to the original game. It'll offer players a lot more of what they've enjoyed about the original game, and the 2 new character classes are especially appealing. The new 5th act is great. It's a lot of fun. All the new items and new abilities are quite interesting and help make the game more complex and just more interesting to play overall. The villain in the game is quite fun to fight and makes a makes a suitable challenge at the end of the game, and all things considered, like any good expansion pack, Diablo II: Lord of Destruction, successfully adds to the original game without really taking the focus away from those qualities that made it good to begin with. That is, Diablo II's unique sort of hack and slash formula where you're constantly fighting, surprising new groups of monsters in these randomly generated areas. It stays very, very true to that, and just enhances everything around it, and therefore will be pretty much essential for anyone who's enjoyed either Diablo II or the original game.